Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to TalkingFish Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Let's see. We got one Eden token. We're going to play an Eden run today in hard mode. I've been running into some issues with YouTube recently. I'm going to use that immediately. Where my videos are getting stuck processing way after I set them to Premiere. I set most of my videos as an instrument Premiere so that all of you that are watching, all 15 of you, get to see it right whenever I'm able to see it through the YouTube native video player. So we get to experience the release at the same time. I'm usually present to chat in YouTube chat whenever it premieres. So if that's your kind of thing, great. Also, if that's your kind of thing, you should just follow me on Twitch, where I'm always present to chat whenever I'm recording. So anyway, I've got some changes that I want to bring about in my content here soon. One of those I've talked about before is a microphone, but I've been experimenting with audio using the hardware that I already have. So hopefully you can tell a difference in this first video. If I'm having a little bit of trouble talking at the same time, it's because the DAW that I'm using to record my audio now has a built-in monitor, so I hear myself with a little bit of delay, and it's kind of strange. It's freaking me out. So aside from that, today's April 22nd. It's Earth Day, and we were talking about some statistics earlier, and by we I mean my wife and I, the only person that I talk to basically ever. My wife loves Animal Crossing, and we were talking about how Animal Crossing has become one of the highest selling Nintendo games of all time, or it is the highest. No, it's just one of the highest. I had to look back at my producer to get to get an okay on that one. It's one of the highest of all time. Just behind the original release of Smash Brothers Brawl and one other Smash Brothers game. The name of which I can't recall, and I know she's saying it behind me, but I can't hear it. So we're gonna go with the other Smash Brothers that is extremely popular. Smash 8. I don't think that was it. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a great Earth Day. It's a little strange not being able to go outside and check out a lot of the Earth on Earth Day, but I hope everybody's figuring out what they need to do. Maybe donating to a good cause if that's your bag, baby. I know it's kind of a tradition for a lot of companies to send people out to plant trees on Earth Day. Are they doing that today? I really don't know. I wish I had done a little bit of research before the video came out. That's incredible. So anyway, today is Wednesday. Oh, I better use this. And I'm off of work, so I'm relaxing today. I've actually spent a large portion of the day checking out all of those audio tools that I have on this DAW. I'm using Reaper. I don't know if anybody out there is a techie or uses audio interfaces regularly, but I'm using Reaper as my audio workshop, and I actually really like it. It's fairly easy to use. I had to download virtual audio cable to get my mic to run through that, and then I'm just running my monitor. That is not my computer monitor, but my mic audio monitor as my output. I'm just checking the settings. So if you guys like the audio in this video better, if the production quality seems higher, make sure to leave a comment letting me know. If you hate it, if there's some weird anomalies, I'll probably hear it myself in playback, but it never hurts to just let me know. Leave a comment, leave a like. Please don't leave a dislike if it's just the audio. But if you genuinely don't like the content, please do. Any feedback is good feedback. It lets me tailor my content to my viewers, which is good for everybody, right? So I was reading some techie news today, and I hate to be super technical for the whole episode, but I was reading some techie news about Ryzen's new gen release. And if you know anything about CPUs and the eternal contest between Team Green, Team Red, and Team Blue, you would know that Team Red is Ryzen. I like Ryzen CPUs. Or sorry, AMD. I like AMD CPUs. AMD GPUs leave a little bit to be desired. And Intel CPUs are great. They have incredible core speeds, but they're not as great at multitasking. And for someone who's constantly running a 2-monitor setup with video encoding and editing on one screen, audio workstations in the background, you'll know that it's pretty important for me to be able to multitask and get everything done. That's why the streams are able to go out at 1080p with no frame skips. That's why my recordings are able to come out with relatively no frame skips. Although I did notice one on the last video. It could have just been because I had to force the video to process a little faster. Or not faster, but I had to force it to finish processing. As many of you know, my videos come out at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or in the Detroit time zone. I know, everybody hates Detroit, unless you're from the Detroit area, but I don't choose the name of the time zones in YouTube. YouTube chooses them, so. I woke up at about 10 o'clock, this is my day off, and my video was not live yet. What the heck? So, oh my gosh. It's a little bit disappointing to wake up to that today, so I spent some time researching, trying to figure out the issue. And it turns out nobody really knows what the issue is. I guess. Most of the fixes were like anecdotal fixes. They say like, hey, it's worked for me if you do this. Well, that's great, but I would like for it to never happen again. Now, I do actually really appreciate the responses that I got, because they were very helpful in getting the issue fixed immediately. But that was not a great experience this morning. And how dare you, YouTube? I'm just kidding. I really do appreciate having this platform to create on. That said, let me get back to my topic. I'm a little off topic here. I was watching tech news, and we've got the 3 teams for reference. AMD released Ryzen Series 4 specs, and they released 2nd Gen Series 3, so that's sort of like 4th Gen, but not 4th Series. And basically, they're focusing on budget gaming, which is extremely cool. To be very clear, they released a budget version of their X570 motherboard, the B550, I believe, which is awesome. That's not good. We're gonna game this a little bit. At a much lower price point. So the new Ryzen 3 is going to be coming out with a higher tier core count, higher tier multi-threading capabilities, higher core speeds, at a lower price, which is incredible. Usually if you get an upgrade in specs, you get a higher price. So people are very, very pleased about that, and I don't see any reason to ever be displeased about a company starting to cater to their customers more. It'd be awesome if we could get that kind of functionality in the graphics card world, where if you want super high tier graphics, you're gonna have to get a 2080 Ti or a Titan RTX from NVIDIA. NVIDIA does not have any pressure right now to compete, because AMD specs just are not keeping up. AMD doesn't have deep learning, super sampling, which is something that NVIDIA does. Sorry, AMD doesn't have that. NVIDIA uses that to increase frame rates at the expense of quality. I am just getting absolutely battered. And DLSS 2.0 came out, which gives you better quality and better frame rate. Thank you, that's super helpful. Oh, is that a library? Hooked it in. AMD doesn't have that, which is unfortunate. Ray tracing is in the RTX series of NVIDIA graphics cards. It's not in the AMD series yet, but if you watched my Twitch video, my Twitch VOD that I played Isaac in, I chatted with a very good friend of mine, Fish Gameplays. And Jacob and I were talking about the new Xbox Series X specs, because neither of us are really convinced that they are what they are. That said, we're not tech media experts or anything like that, so don't get confused about our opinions versus reality. Microsoft has released official specs, or at least official hardware specs, to give us an idea of what it's going to look like, what kind of games it's going to be able to run, and it looks like it's aimed towards high-end PC gamers, which is great. You know, recently, the argument has always been, well, you should just PC game because your PC is going to run games better. It's going to have not as good support for existing games, but games will be able to improve and will have a chance at playing them. So, to be on target here, Intel released some GPU specs. And I was talking about AMD not competing with NVIDIA. Well, kind of the same distance between NVIDIA and AMD is the same distance between, that was terrible, between AMD and Intel. And that really put it together for me. All right, we'll pop a little bit here. Yeah, just totally abysmal specs for a graphics card that's going to end up being pretty expensive. If you've ever bought an Intel CPU, you know that being cost effective is not really what they're aimed at. They're aimed at pure performance. So I haven't seen pricing on it yet, but I'm not super convinced. All right, let's go back. So I know everybody doesn't PC game, but those of you out there that do, double damage? You shouldn't have. So those of you that do, what are your specs like? Did you build your PCs or did you buy a free build? I've been on both sides of the camp, and I do totally agree with paying a little bit extra for convenience. There's nothing wrong with that at all, because I've had a ton of issues with my current PC that I did not have with my pre-built PC. Sorry. The pre-build worked perfect out of the box. It was very optimized. It worked much faster than much faster than I expected it to, considering the specs that it was running on. And it seemed like the components were a little bit higher quality. I did have to return my video card. If you followed this series from the beginning, you'll know that I had a 2080 Ti that I started with that kind of crapped out on me. It couldn't encode any videos regardless of the file size. And now I've got a Founders Edition card that runs much better. But there was a time constraint there, whereas with the pre-build I just walked in and had it. We'll take this. So we haven't talked about the run at all yet. I started with great stats, pretty high damage, dunce cap, which is one of my favorite items. and anytime I play co-op with my wife, I tell her to take it and she hates it. I like it because it's basically double damage, but you have to sort of choose when you get to deal double damage. Like here. Perfect. And we started with Prayer Card, which is an excellent item to have on the first floor, and I would only want it very early in a run, so that was very nice. We started with pretty high speed. I think it was 1.14. I got a speed down pill. So I ended up with 0.99. I'm not really too fussed about that. And it's really just popped off since then. Smart Fly, or Revenge Fly, I can't remember what it's called, is one of my favorite flies. It does a ton of damage if you can enable it. Otherwise, you have to take damage every time. Ouija board did nothing for us, but I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. Gemini has done great. Matchbook, we tried to enable. The bombs helped greatly. Just check. There's a no. Ooh. Nope. So we'll do the boss fight really quickly, see if we can get a payout. And I took this on the last floor to never use it. What I'd like to see, Tractor Beam would be incredible, because then we would have full rate of fire quad tiers, basically. We got more HP. That's probably all that, oh my gosh. All the HP I can afford to take. I don't like having more than 6 red hearts, because I like being flexible. I like being able to pick up spirit hearts and black hearts, or demon hearts, whatever you want to call them. This is definitely a secret room. Tried to shoot it. And it wasn't, you fool. Might as well open everything that requires a key. Pop off our bombs a little bit. And Yum Heart is useless. It's going to move down to the next floor, just right on pace for boss rush if we wanted to do it. And we do want to, if it's available to us. I think we would survive just fine, because we can stand off axis. So any of those telefrag enemies that spawn in dealing damage immediately are not really going to be dealing damage to us, because we're not going to be standing where the game would usually have us stand. So we're in the middle of the week. I hope everybody's having a good week. That was a waste. And April's here, but you would never tell it where I am. I know sort of the rest of the country is feeling it just fine. But we had a chance of snow. The last 2 days, it's been extremely cold. I've been trying to spend time outside. That was just awful. Might as well. Thank you. In the last video, I was talking about how I like to sit outside, and I have not really been able to. Don't need it. Let's donate. Okay. So I haven't gotten any responses on playing a different game yet, so I'm just going to continue playing this one. I tried to record Gungeon, and this is full disclosure now. You can't go tell everybody, but I recorded a full 48-minute long episode of Gungeon, and running the bitrate and video options I'm running, that should have been about a 5 to 6 gigabyte video, and I went to upload it, and I couldn't choose a thumbnail. That was bad. I kind of thought, well, this is odd, but I'll just upload one anyway. So I uploaded it, waited for the instant premiere, uploaded another video in the meantime, and just sat there looking at a blank screen for about 30 seconds, waiting for the video to start. Well, oh, I have no money. Wouldn't you believe it? I never set my video input, so so my computer was still looking for Isaac. So I did a whole 48-minute episode of banter and pretty good gameplay. I won, just to have it go straight down the drain. You hate to see it. Anybody out there ever make mistakes like that? It's okay, you can tell me. I didn't even mention Pyromaniac, which is incredible. We're gonna keep the telepills. Try to enable some of these chests over here. Tinted rock. 2 chests. I don't want your purple heart. Should have done that first. Gets it. I'll accept the bad super secret room. And we will move on from this room in just a second. Stars card, not useful anymore. This is terrible! I am gonna open every single one of these and hope I get a teleport. No? 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 The heart is good though. Come here. Oh, please. Consumables only. And a regular hill. Okay, we're not fighting Mom. So this run will end in the cathedral. I did mean to, I promise. I didn't know. So yeah, I've been talking about making big, like, life-changing decisions recently, right? We're adopting a dog. We're moving considerably far. I know a lot of you might say, "Oh, that's only a 6-hour drive. That's not too far." That's pretty far. It's not the next town over. And it's a distance that I would almost certainly rather not drive. I would rather fly. Speaking of which, I've never flown before. Is that strange? I joke about that sometimes with my wife. She's flown many times. My wife is half Panamanian. She has family in Panama that they would regularly see when she was younger. So she's flown many times. Her dad is a retired veteran. And he has been stationed everywhere, so they've been stationed with him before. Not specifically in the military, but during security contracts. So, excuse me. Thank you. She's flown tons of times as a child, as an adult. I've never done it. You know, I've been on buses, and I hate riding the bus. I might have a little bit of motion sickness. Time and again. But I don't know. I think air sickness is pretty common as well. People tend to panic being in a small box, an enclosed space. But we were talking about taking a honeymoon. When my wife and I got married, we did a very small ceremony that really just included us and our immediate families and best friends. And we never took a honeymoon. We were moving immediately afterwards. We moved up to Michigan from Missouri. And didn't really have time to do anything, or the resources. Oh, excuse you. So we were talking about doing it now. Some of our best friends, the friends that we actually stream with regularly, they were getting married this year. They were. I'm not sure anymore, and I don't know if they know. For sure, because it's not like this is a situation that's happened before and there are precedents and we know exactly how to manage events during this sort of crisis. So I think they're just calling it like they see it. But certainly the traveling aspect, going on a honeymoon, is almost guaranteed flat out. Not because they have to, but I think because that's the smart decision here. Oh, Master of Walking diagonally fails. Spikes go. Brrr. Thank you. Got Maggie, some challenges. Redeemed. Oh. So we were talking about going on their honeymoon with them. That sounds a little strange. But there's no but there. It just sounds strange. But it sounded like a good idea to us. We're all, you know, best friends. We get along, and because we have very low pressure relationships, I think there's not a ton of weight on maintaining the relationship. It's very low maintenance. It just happens, which has always been nice. We've talked about it before, not on stream, but on what may become a podcast in the future. Oh, we're gonna fight Hush for sure. If it's available. About how our relationship has differed from some of the ones that we'd previously had in high school and in college, where it was a little taxing to hang out. You might like somebody. We will not get Hush, but we will go down. But our relationships are not taxing at all. You guys have any friends like that? Friends that you don't hear from in a very, very long time. And then, you know, you could pick up any day as if there had been 0 days in between hanging out. It's pretty cool having a relationship like that as an adult. Because adult friendships, believe it or not, if you're not out of college, if you still have that forced social interaction, chances are you've never really experienced isolation in the way that you think you might have, because you're still forced to interact with people every single day. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have perspective. I'm just saying that maybe you haven't personally experienced it, so you can imagine what it's like to be totally isolated. Ooh, we are getting thick. Ooh. So it's cool to have that kind of lasting relationship. Excuse me. I can't tell my small attached baby apart from you. We haven't really talked much about the game this round because honestly, it's just been set. We haven't had to do anything. Like Amnesia, I don't even care. Thank you. Just knock these guys out real quick. Yeah, haven't had to worry at all. I mean, we started basically with double damage, then we got double damage again, and then we got Cricket's Head, which is a damage multiplier that pretty much equates to double damage in most circumstances. So we haven't had anything to worry about at all as far as the run. We didn't get Tractor Beam like I would have wanted, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's like asking for a second yacht. I've already got one yacht. I'm not gonna be sad if I don't get two. No, I realize that's a little unrealistic because there's probably plenty of people out there who throw tantrums because they don't get a second yacht. Let's work on some extra HP here. And you know what? Guppy's Head is excellent. But I think we're gonna stick with Book. Everything is looking totally hunky-dory. It's a pretty short episode today, so I haven't really had to stress the memory cortex too much on coming up with some banter, but I promise I'm gonna start doing some research because I am very obsessed with research, and I'm a little surprised at myself or disappointed in myself for not leveraging that previously. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's... Excuse me. Heal up. Heal up. There we go. Well, if you've joined me today, thank you for watching. As always, I do appreciate any feedback you're able to give me. Let's turn this audio down a little. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video, consider subscribing, leaving a comment if you have any suggestions, and I will see you in the future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.